Greetings, Avery. We were out late last night at a friend's Christmas party, so we're both feeling a little bit tender today.
Shouts out our friend. They're watching, and they know who they are.
They're not watching.
They might be.
Definitely not watching.
You don't know.
We were out late. Our stomachs are a little bit upset. You know, we wanted a nice casual shoot today.
It's winter. So let's cozy, stay in.
Let's
some blankets,
in.
some cocoa.
So for our Christmas episode, we're gonna watch Terrifier. We watched Terrifier 3.
Oh yeah, this is real. This happened, and we're gonna make you suffer through it with us.
Yeah, and I said even before our shoot, I do feel like I pranked you a little bit on this, because I have seen Terrifier 1 and 2, and if you want to see my thoughts on it, it is in one of our catch-up episodes. I don't remember which. Here it is. You can go watch it there. Long story short, I enjoyed them both a lot for very different reasons, and I want to get into the differences between those and this third one. This third one I had never seen, and I'd actually been saving for a long time, because I knew it was a Christmas movie, because the poster is like Santa's face getting taken off of his body.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, let's save it for a Christmas shoot. That'll be great. So it's been a year of me trying to find a time to watch this, kind of building it up in my head. And I did not enjoy this movie. Which I'm disappointed in, but I'm very interested to talk about it because the reasons I don't like it are very specific to the Terrifier franchise, and I have a lot of ideas how to fix this.
Okay.
You're a guy who's come in and has seen none of them.
No,
and
I know what it is.
You know about it. But the reason I feel I pranked you is that I had you watch this one, which isn't even the one I like, and as I think you sent me a message while screening the film that I'll display here.
Yeah, I mean, this movie sets out to be a horrific, miserable nightmare. That's just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Every 10 seconds, one of the worst things you've ever had to watch is happening on screen in great detail. And that's the point. That's on purpose. I knew this had done very well, right? Like, obviously, these movies are generating a lot, and this was, like, doing big numbers in theaters.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the ratio of disgusting to financial success is probably the best ever. Like, I think this made more than, like, Hostel or, like,
Probably.
Saw,
this did super well, yeah. It's
right?
kind of, and it's built up its own cult following. Like,
Yeah.
the premiere of the Terrifiers now is this big event in the kind of horror geek circles, I feel.
Yeah, so I was tentatively interested. This is not the kind of thing that I usually seek out.
This is more of a Reed movie than an Avery movie.
More of a Reed movie, and I will wear that proudly. I'm a little offended if someone said this was a me movie for anyone. But I was, you know what, I was interested. I was like, okay, let's see what all the fuss is about. There are a lot of gross horror movies. We've watched some of them. We've heard about some of them. Why is this one, why are the Zoomers all going out to watch this one? What's it got? And in that sense, I was interested to watch, and I'm interested to talk about it. I also, you pranked me a little bit. This sucks, and I hate it.
But?
So, no.
It's a Terrifier Christmas. Let horror fill your heart.
Now, last night, I remember you saying, it sucks and I hated it, but it's also good.
It is quite good, and that's what I'm annoyed about. I cannot just dismiss this as like, this is a terrible project. It's just shock for shock's sake, and it's gross, and throw it in the bin with whatever Eli Roth has been up to, or like all that Italian stuff. Like, it's not that. It is a real movie that is very well crafted with a specific vision, and there are problems with it. It's definitely not like a perfect movie, even setting aside the shockingness of it. But like, it's way better than it should be for that. It is really tightly crafted. I think it's consistent. I think almost all the performances are very good, and it all feels like a cohesive vision that is trying to do something. And the thing it's trying to do is being a slasher that is shocking enough to shock people who grew up with Live Leak. And it succeeds. But it is just an it has to work so hard to be shocking in 2025 for people who have seen it all already. That's the whole thing that every part of the movie is contributing to. And there's just like barely any like levity, and like the characters are intentionally like good and nice people that you inherently kind of like, and every part of it is just crafted to be, I hate you, viewer, and I'm going to make you miserable and upset. And to that end, it's very successful and well made.
This is interesting because you're latching onto things that are like criticisms I have of this movie relative to the other movies.
Okay, yeah, again, I haven't seen 1 and 2, so I'm curious what the difference is.
So I guess let's take a little step back. Let's talk about like what is Terrifier 1, 2, 3, and like why do I think this is different, and maybe that'll kind of jumpstart.
Give us a little history lesson on old art.
Terrifier started as a short film that was quite well done, and I forget exactly what it was called, but I'll put it here. And it has Art the Clown in it. It's like super short. And then that little short film was very successful, so they asked if it could be part of an anthology. And then he said, I'll put it in the anthology, but you have to let me direct all the other segments too. So he created what was called All Hallows Eve, which was like an anthology of short films that all had Art the Clown in it. That did moderately well, and people were interested in Art the Clown. He's a very distinctive visual, so then he got the money to make Terrifier, the first one. And the first Terrifier, I think, is like a really great kind of throwback 70s grindhouse movie. It's super bare bones. The characters are as simple as possible. It's like college-age girls on Halloween night who are out, and one of them's kind of smart final girl, and one's super annoying, and there's a bunch of other random annoying people. And they all are just kind of killed by Art the Clown throughout the course of the evening in typical Art the Clown fashion.
Yeah.
I think part of the charm of the movie was it was like the first one, so the kills being that shocking were even more shocking because you didn't know what you were getting into. But it looked pretty good. The performances were the worst. It clearly was the cheapest, but it almost had this charm to it because it was so bare bones, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And then the second one really ratcheted it up everything. It got more money. It got more of an actual story. It introduced Cece, who's the main character in the third one as well, as the kind of new protagonist of the series.
Sienna? That's Cece?
Yeah, Sienna.
Okay,
right.
They call her CC
Yeah.
too.
They introduce her, and they expand the lore of Terrifier a lot. They introduce the concept that her dad was the comic book artist that somehow created.
Oh, that was from the last. Okay,
That
so
was from the
that's
second
in the
one.
third one. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what was through lines. Like clearly, Sienna and Jackson, and then a couple of the other characters were returning.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how much more of this was in the other one.
No, and it's kind of all. I think one of my problems with the third one is that it's all from the second one. They don't add anything else. They just conclude it all. Because it sets up that her dad was this artist with magical powers that kind of made her a warrior princess who's the chosen one to fight Art the Clown. And
I didn't really get that.
Yeah, and then in the second one, she has like this suit of magical armor and a magic sword, and she fights Art in that at the end. And it all is part of this implicit world building, and it goes like compared to the first one, it's like they just decided, let's create a backstory, let's do lore, let's make it fucking crazy.
Sure.
They kind of set that all up. She defeats Art, and then I think in the end credits, Art hooks up with Vicky, who's the second.
And is she like one of the girls in the
She
second
was the
one?
victim of the first movie that was then in an insane asylum, and Art breaks her out, and then they team up in the third one. I have a lot of issues with Vicky in this third one, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
But that's kind of the second one. So it concludes with her kind of becoming the warrior princess and defeating Art. But I think the reason the second one worked really well is like when the movie starts, no one knows who Art the Clown is. They're just like high schoolers. So you have like the high school party.
Do they know about Terrifier 1 at all?
They know like as you would know a town over had a serial killer.
Okay.
Like people dress up like Art for Halloween. Like it's like become pop culture, but people aren't like actively scared of it. So Terrifier 2, when you saw it, like Terrifier 3 is missing the levity.
Yeah.
Terrifier 2 had it because people didn't know the threat yet.
Right.
And also they're like high schoolers, and her friends are like annoying high school people. So when they're getting killed off, it doesn't feel as like mean-spirited. Because it's
this
like
movie's mean.
Because it's a more traditional slasher. It's like they're just shitty high schoolers. They don't deserve to die, but you also aren't like bothered by it. But there's that levity and all that. And then the third one comes in, and the third one just kind of like, to me, the third movie felt like if the end credits of 2 went on for another hour.
Yeah.
And that's what bothered me about it, because it doesn't really add anything new. She just like gets the magic sword back and fights Art again at the end. And the first hour and a half is just Art causing mischief around Christmas. But I really don't think they knew what to do with the story. And I think a big part of it is like when I described this timeline, the first one was a very clear thing.
Yeah.
The second one was so different than the first one, but good and new in different ways that it like challenged you as a viewer. Like, oh, we're going a totally different direction. And then the third one felt more like a second part to Terrifier 2 that was also worse and mean.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm starting to appreciate. Again, I haven't seen 2, and Yeah, the idea of this franchise not having new ideas is like, well, then don't make the movie. Like, this needs to be creative and innovative every
Yeah.
time, or we don't just want to watch another hour of it. Like, for me though, coming into 3, it is like new, right?
True,
I hadn't seen
yeah,
2, and so this wasn't a problem for me. I can appreciate it for sure, and I wish that the plot had gone somewhere more interesting. Like, for me, it was like an hour and a half of just a slasher that is designed to be as upsetting as possible. It strips away like any amount of like comfort like the characters are all too nice.
Yeah.
Like just like the contractors and like Clint Howard, like they work very hard to make you like all these people, which is like they're stripping away that like in Friday the 13th, right? Everyone's like a
Asshole,
for the first hour. Everyone who dies is like a boorish asshole who's like making terrible decisions. Now you're just watching like 11 likable actors who are charming and Christmassy have the worst possible shit happen to them. And then the last little bit is like, again, there's not really that levity for how shocking this is. We've seen movies that are sillier and have more fun with this level of gore and like make it goofy. And this, I was expecting more of that. We watched a movie a while ago, I don't know if you remember, called Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
That we were dying laughing throughout.
Yeah.
This movie is like crazy over the top gory, but in a way that's like just becomes hilarious. I was expecting more of that with Terrifier 3. It happened like a little bit
There
once
were
or
a couple,
twice.
yeah.
Like when the bomb goes off in the
That was-
mall, I kind of laughed. But
Yeah.
like a lot of it was, it felt like they were deliberately trying not to do that. Not to reach the point where it's like so gratuitous that it's no longer scary and just becomes funny.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was gonna find this funny and I didn't. It was just really upsetting.
I think that's a very reasonable expectation based on
Yeah.
everything about the poster, everything about the...
Which was deliberate. I think it was deliberate. And
Yeah.
the ending, I will say, like, not having seen the second one, I had no concept that there was like magic or chosen one going on. She just has a sword.
And that was
she
really
uses to
poorly done.
Kill them.
Yeah. Because even when she takes the sword out of the box, it's not like
It's like glowing.
it just looks like a Halloween prop. It
Yeah.
doesn't, and that was another gripe I had because the second one made a big thing. She gets like a suit of armor.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like an armor up scene. So it was missing all this.
Yeah, they kind of throw that away.
It's like if you're gonna do it, just don't do it then. Just
Yeah.
have her fight Art with like a kitchen knife. She doesn't need to have
like a new person.
yeah.
It's weird to bring her back after giving her that and then taking it away.
Well, and that's, you were saying like you feel guilty watching Art do this stuff to these people because in the second one, Sienna, she gears up to fight Art by the end and she gets fucked up by Art at the end and like really badly injured, which is why in this movie she has like horrible PTSD.
Yeah.
It's not fun to see a girl struggling with mental health and PTSD
And it's a really good performance. Like,
She's very good.
Which is like a problem.
because you don't want to see her then go through this again.
This wasn't a mistake, right? Like watching Terrifier 3, I definitely want a movie that's more silly and like kind of like you're describing the second one, where it's like terrible asshole guys are having ridiculous deaths.
Yeah.
This wasn't trying to do that. Again, I'll come back to the line. Like this felt like a movie that is designed to be shocking enough to reach Zoomers.
Yeah.
And like it had to be this bad with characters that you actually like and care for and like have this level of insane stuff happen to them. Like this is supposed to feel the way Friday the 13th did in 1984, right? Like that's what he set out to do. At least that's what it seems like to me. And to that end, it was very effective. They did a really good job with the performances and the craft and the storytelling and the pacing of just reaching that goal of like, fuck you, viewer. I hate you.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, they do pull that off.
It's a good job. Like, I that's why it's not a mistake when we say the performances are like too good and it's not goofy enough, right? Like, I'm asking for a different movie because I would have had more fun watching that.
Yeah, a more lighthearted tone.
Yeah.
And like she's a bad protagonist if you want. She's a great, actually, I think a really great actress. And I
She
said
is
that
really good.
in Terrifier 2 as well. She's great. And clearly they want to keep her on because she's not a big star yet, but she's an excellent actress. So they want to hold on to like the talent. But the story-wise, you don't really want to see her go through shit again. It's just sad and kind of upsetting.
Yeah, like the scene where she gets accosted by like that YouTuber girl, who the YouTuber girl was like
That's
more
someone,
appropriate.
That's someone you're okay to see killed.
For like how bad that anyway. But the scene where she breaks it, you know what that reminded me of? You watched Pam and Tommy, right? The
Yeah.
Pam Anderson show, like that. This is a weird thread to draw, but it was a similar, like really powerful, like the scene where in Pam and Tommy, where Lily James like breaks down on the Jay Leno show, and just like that moment of like the veneer cracking. Like that was a very similar scene where the YouTuber girl is accosting Sienna in Terrifier 3, and she's just in the cafeteria, and it's just this really well acted moment of her like, no, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone, and I'm absolutely don't want to. I'm like, this is supposed to be fun and silly.
Yeah,
Stop it. There's a guy in like a Christmas costume. It's a slasher. Like, this is way too real.
Yeah, the tone is kind of all over the place.
That sick fuck who ruined our lives is still out there, and you want to know how I'm coping?
The central thing, you asked me this during Terrifier 2, you're like, what's his thing? Because, you know, Freddy's got the dream silliness, and Jason's got his own thing. You kind of hockey mask, walks in straight lines. Every slasher kind of has to have their own personality.
Yeah.
What's Art's thing? I think the thing that characterized Art, and this was true in the original short film, and I feel like the original short film provides like the thesis for what Terrifier is Art shows up with a garbage bag full of tools in which to kill you. And then he just fucks with you for a while, and the fucking with you sequence is drawn out and actually quite enjoyable because Art's performance is great. His facial expressions and his mimes work. It's all fantastic. He's very engaging to watch, and I think he does a really great job of just being like silly clown man in the build-up sequences. And the people are kind of slowly realizing it's a real threat, and then before it's too late, he kills you in the most gratuitous way possible. And a lot of the other movies draw that out a lot, like where he's stalking them for 20 minutes before the kill happens. But that little loop is kind of the Terrifier thing. Like, Art shows up, random situation with people doing something, and they humanize them a bit, they give them a bit of backstory, Art starts messing with them, you get some fun tension-building interplay of people realizing maybe they're in real danger, or is this just a guy fucking with us? And then it escalates into the most gratuitous murders. That's like what the thing is.
Because that only happens twice in this.
That's the problem, because the first one is almost all that. The second one has great ones of those, and it's linked with more plot stuff, like with Sienna. The third one, I think, forgot that that's the thing Terrifier is good at.
Well, it did it twice. It did it with the guys in the bar, with
which
Clint
is my
Howard in the
favorite
bar,
scene.
and then it did it with the kids in the
and
mall.
the blowing up of the tree.
Because that's the two where you're bringing in new victims.
Yeah.
Even like the construction workers in the house was like not really that.
It wasn't really that, because there's no build-up. Art just shows up and kills them immediately. There's none of that interplay.
Yeah.
So you nailed what I was going to say. In my notes, I have that the bar scene and the Santa in the mall scene are great scenes, and I think examples of like why Terrifier is fun to watch. Those are the thesis for why you do this. Everything in between it is like they didn't know what to do. Like, Art spends so long like with Vicky, not doing murder stuff, just like walking around and doing nothing, and there's so many scenes with people just like having mental health issues that are well acted but not, all the glue is just not good.
So I think if I could like try to guess at what Damien Leone's trying to do with this, right?
Sure.
Like, and again, I'm coming back to he's trying to make a movie that is like shocking enough, right? That is actually there. And what it feels like to me, Art the Clown is almost like a you created me society. Like, this is what you've asked for.
Okay.
And in the first one, it's like that's kind of what you're describing. Is it's like he's so crazy, over the top, and violent, and it's like it's silly, and people don't realize that like even a slasher villain is willing to be like this crazy and violent, right? And Art reads. I mean, they talk a little bit about how he's like a demon, whatever. Like, I don't care about the actual lore.
I didn't even understand that.
I don't. It's fine. But like, right, like the first one is it's a reflection of the world in 2022, 2025, that things have gotten so far. Everyone's seen so much violence on the internet that like this is who we've created. This is our slasher villain now, is someone that's like this messed up and so gleeful about it.
Like
right?
an internet age slasher.
It's an escalation. And it feels like they did that for 1 and 2, and then for the third one, Damien Leone, I would, again, this is me guessing, just from not much information. I haven't seen the first two. He knows that people are coming into the theaters having seen these first two, and at this point, it's not scary. They're not going to be shocked by a silly one that's sillier than 2.
Sure.
And so what he did with the third one is like, again, screw you, I'm going to make something that's still upsetting now that you've seen Terrifier 1 and 2. I'm not going to lean into the fun and make it sillier and goofier. I'm going to make it worse.
Right, darker. And
you've seen the first 2, you think you know what you're in for. Now I'm going to make characters you care about. I'm going to make less levity. I'm going to make like better performances. I'm going to kill, I assume, more kids.
Oh yeah.
There's like a chopped up toddler like 3 minutes into this. And I was like,
Yeah.
So that's what I think was the point of Terrifier 3.
Yeah, it could
Because like
be.
with the poster being like Santa and Christmas, you're like, this one's they're gonna have so much
yeah.
fun with it. And then he's
gonna
like,
be
no,
campy.
no, this is not what you get coming to Terrifier 3. You're gonna be goddamn miserable.
And it's kind of like he's a victim of his own expectations, because people coming to see this, like the opening scene of all the Terrifiers is usually a big gratuitous kill. And I feel like in this one, he learned the wrong lessons. They do the big long kind of first sequence, but it doesn't even really end in a kill. And the first 15 minutes of the movie are basically useless. It's like Art's body reconnecting with his head, and then teaming up with Vicky, and then they ride a bus.
Yeah, the
And
guy
then
in
they go to a house and just fall asleep for 5 years.
Yeah, that was weird. The guy in the hospital I didn't get. The family, I think, again, kind of contributes where, again, maybe I'm wrong. This is my read on it. The family, what I got from that, I kept expecting silly things to happen. Because the first part of this, he's like, shows up to this Christmas family. He's dressed as Santa. And I'm expecting what you're describing from Terrifier 3. And it wasn't that. It's just like very brutal. It's like The Strangers. Right?
Yeah, that's actually a great example, because he's dressed as Santa. So what do you do with your Art the Clown gameplay loop?
Hits everyone with an axe.
Right.
With a straight face. Like, that's it.
They should have done, has a moment with the kid where the kid thinks it's actually Santa, and he's like putting presents under the tree, and and then the kid goes to get her parents to be like, Santa's actually in the living room, and they all come down, and then we can escalate. But they don't
really do that.
He just kills them.
Yeah.
There's none of that fun buildup, and they kept forgetting that.
Yeah.
And that's like the thing this movie's really missing.
And I think it's very possible that it's just kind of like a bad job for whatever reason, and they just kind of lost the plot. But like, if I were to take the charitable interpretation, it is that he's playing on your expectations by saying like, no, not gonna be goofy. You're not gonna have fun watching this.
Maybe. I think I lean more into they failed than that it was intentional, only because I do think the weight of the series is probably starting. I don't think that everyone expected the series to get as big as it is now, and it's kind of like, well, what are we gonna do?
Because like I remember this moment when in the opening where the wife like wakes up to find her husband had just been hit with where again I was expecting a silly slasher, and it's not. Like her reaction is like something out of Hereditary.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, this is about to suck for 2 hours.
And like the tone of the first two isn't super light, but I think the context of who's being killed and the build-up makes it feel lighter.
Yeah.
When you're seeing someone get killed horribly violently, but we've established they're kind of shitty, and we spent 10 minutes screwing with them, then you introduce some of that lightness back that this movie was missing. They just cut right to the like most terrible. Like I felt kind of gross after this movie.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, and I'm saying that as someone who enjoyed the first two, and a lot of people would have watched those and said I feel gross. I had fun with them because I feel like I knew exactly what they were doing, and I was locked in on the tone. And this one lost the tone. This one, they didn't understand what to do in the right spots. There's a couple issues I have that are like very specific that I think are more like lazy filmmaking, and I want to talk about them.
Okay.
First of all, I think this is just budgetary, but I think they like forgot to shoot a few essential scenes. The main one I'm thinking of is she says she needs to get her sword back, and that she needs to go to the Terrifier to get it.
Yeah. What?
So
I'm
the
remembering this. What is
Terrifier,
that?
the Terrifier is like I guess like Art the Clown's lair, and it's like an abandoned amusement park ride that they go to in the second one. That there's all kind of hijinks happen at, and
I remember that line. I didn't.
and they bury her magic sword that she can kill Art with at the Terrifier.
Okay.
So in this movie, she's like, I need to go back to the Terrifier, and I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna get another like set piece at the titular Terrifier. They don't even show it. And the next scene, she just comes home and her hands are dirty,
Oh yeah.
implying that she had dug it up. And they don't shoot any of it.
See, when her
And I was
hands
like-
were dirty, I was confused by that because I thought it was like, are they trying to like do like a flip-de-doo where like she's Art now because he's really dead? And then like
No.
I gave that up, but I was like, when she shows up and her hands are dirty with no explanation, I'm like, is she like in a fugue state and killing people? Is it one of those? It's
She
not.
just dug up the
so
sword
That was confused with her hands.
with her bare hands, and they didn't show it.
Okay.
And, and I was just like, that's weird. That to me feels like budgetary issues, or it's lazy, but I don't think, like it's weird to me that this third one, which supposedly would have the most budget and the most like money behind it, and they can kind of finally do whatever they want, felt the cheapest and laziest. The second one had way more stuff where I was like, wow, they actually built this set, or they actually made her armor. All these little details where I'm like, I appreciate the effort they put into that. This one had so many things like where I was just like, did you just run out of time? What happened? The sword at the end is another good example. Like, you didn't know it was a magic sword. It's just like some little shitty sword in a box.
Yeah.
That should have been like a thing where she gets the sword out and it like lights on fire and...
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And there's little glimmers of this. There's like a dream sequence in this movie where like an angel has like an orc on a chain leash and
I liked that.
forging armor.
I thought
That
it
was
looked really
awesome.
cool.
I'm like, oh, we're gonna come back to that. They're gonna like reforge her armor and
It was
she's
like
gonna...
right after they were talking about her dad, so I'm like, is like this like a thing? Is that her dad?
Well, that's what I don't know. It's like the creatures from the mythology are making her armor. I'm like, oh, that's such a strong visual. I want to see more of that. That's it. It never...
They don't come back.
That
to
was it.
Yeah.
It just felt unfinished. I think that's my big frustration with it.
And it's interesting because, again, not having the context of the first two, I was coming in, and I still am going to give this movie a bunch of kudos, because as much as I had a terrible time watching it, which is on purpose, I think it was really, I thought it was really well crafted. I was watching it, and I want to give a lot of credit to stuff like, the effects, like the gore, like
It is great.
it is really good.
It is.
I think it looks really good. Like
The cinematography is gorgeous.
there's a distinct style that works really well.
It's got that kind of old, again, 70s film look that looks beautiful. I think it deceptively so. Like when the movie opened, there's some shots of the house around Christmas and stuff. I'm like, this looks amazing. And then it almost contrasts weirdly with like what you're about to kind of get into. But the cinematography, I'd say, is leaps and bounds above like a lot of other technical aspects.
One thing I think you mentioned earlier, and I want to come back to it, is Vicky. Because I didn't have any of the context, and I just was like, kind of like, what? Why? What?
I hated Vicky.
I didn't like that she talked, because Art doesn't talk. Art doesn't talk, and that's great. He's like a mime, and he's goofy, but still spooky, and it's like Satan's little helper.
Yeah.
Which Art takes a lot from Satan's little helper. I'm sure he'd credit that. But like, Vicky was clearly, as soon as I saw her, I was like, okay, I guess I'm missing stuff from the first two movies.
You're not even missing anything. That's the problem. I hated Vicky.
Okay.
Because I think Vicky's annoying. The real problem with it is it takes away from screen time for Art. These movies are at their best when Art's just on screen doing art stuff. Like, he's great, and they just like, half the movie, what should have been an art scene, is like a Vicky scene, and I was getting very frustrated with the movie.
Yeah.
And I really hope as the series goes forward from here, they realize Art is the thing people like. And Sienna, I think she's actually good, although I think that story needs to end because she's too traumatized.
Yeah, I don't know what
But
you
Art
do
is
with
like the secret sauce. Don't add other villains. And the second movie did this too. They added this little girl helper for Art.
Okay.
But she was also silent. And I feel like Art still got 90% of the screen time. So it wasn't as egregious, but this time they gave him Vicky, and I'm like, just leave it to Art. Art's the thing.
I didn't like that it gave Art a tangible goal. And maybe this isn't pre-existing, but like
that's true.
Whenever like Vicky's like talking about how like, I'm gonna use you as my new host for the demon, and we're gonna do and Art's just sitting there like honk honk.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to know what his plan is.
The charm of Art is that he's just like a crazy guy.
Yeah.
I think what I really like about Art, and this movie still does it, is that he is like a supernatural force. He's like a demon. Like obviously he's supernatural because he can't be killed. But also, when you have to fight him, it's kind of just like some asshole you have to fight like a normal guy.
Yeah, he's not like Jason where he's like ripping through like titanium and like completely unstoppable. Like people just like beat him up and like push him downstairs.
Yeah, and like he feels pain. You can like shoot him and stab him and it slows him down and he actually gets hurt. And
in
so
a
it's
weird
like
way, he's kind of like a kid where he gets like grumpy and like competitive.
Yeah, having him be this like, we don't even know why he's here. We don't know what his goal is. That works way better for Art than like having a villain plot. Yeah. That's what Vicky screws up because
I think the interesting idea here and my like, I don't know, headcanon, I'm curious to watch the first two and see how it gels, but like, I think I talked about it, is that Art is a reflection of today's audience.
Yeah.
Right? He's the slasher villain we created. He's the slasher villain we deserve. And he's discovering that, right? Like he's experiencing the world and how people react to him. And I think that's what would be interesting. If you ask me like, what would be interesting to me in a Terrifier 4 is like more commentary. Like I don't want to know, I swear to God, if they tell me the name of the demon, walking out, turning it off. If I find out Bagul is the one behind this, done.
Yeah.
But like, interplaying with more of like modern society, right? Like art, I don't know, with like streamers and like social media and like US politics, like that kind of stuff.
And play with the fact that like he can't get a reaction even when he does something horrible anymore. Because
Yeah.
people assume it's fake or they're desensitized. So he ratchets it up.
Straight up.
I think that's a great
Art
idea.
runs for president in Terrifier 4. Like, not a joke. Do that.
That was pretty good. Something there. I think Terrifier 4, my note for him, I don't really want to like, I think Damien Malone has done a great job obviously this is successful because of him. He wrote and directed these, they're his baby. So even though I'm very frustrated and didn't really like Terrifier 3, I still like, I'm frustrated because I love the franchise and I want him to do better than this. My note to it would be, I think he needs a new editor. I think that this movie as it is would have been dramatically improved. I still would have had a lot of my frustrations, but I think it needed to be tightened up. I think the first 15 minutes can basically be removed, and there's a lot of meandering in the middle that are not art scenes, and they're not funny.
I'm coming around to the idea, I mean, there's somebody who had a famous quote about how a lot of bands can write 2 good albums, and then the third one is what separates like the truly great ones, because a lot of time that third one, you don't have any new ideas, but your record label's telling you to put out a third one.
Sure.
And that's kind of what this feels like, where it's like, he had like the very concise, simple idea for Art the Clown, and then he had enough ideas around it to do something cool and fun and fresh for 2.
Yeah.
And then the studio's like, make a third one. People really want to see it. And he's like, oh shit, I guess.
Which is probably why it kind of feels like just a tail end to the second film rather than its own thing.
And he had like a couple of hits on there, right? Like the Christmas idea, kind of fun. And like some of the stuff he did, all the stuff that was Christmassy worked.
Yeah, that's true.
He had like 2 like tracks on the album where it's like, what if art killed people and it's Christmas? And that's fun.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was like,
So I think what we need from Terrifier 4, I want to see Terrifier 4 have the same jump that Terrifier 1 to Terrifier 2 had. I want to feel that again. Because Terrifier 3 just felt like more of Terrifier 2 and worse. I want Terrifier 4 to be like something brand new.
Art runs for president. I'm telling
Art
you.
runs for president,
do it.
Terrifier 4. Well, I think we've talked enough about Terrifier 3. and
Way
we're-
more than we needed to.
More
or
than we needed
deserved.
to. Well, you did mention a couple times, you're like, I'm curious about Terrifier 1 and 2. Are you going to watch them?
No?
No. No.
Like if you
Not
make me for,
unless you're forced to.
if you make me for a video, if we get if one of you donate 10 patrons say so, then I'll watch it. All right, how about that?
If anyone cares.
Yeah, 5,000 subscribers, I'll watch Terrifier 2. Something like that.